Hi, everyone. I am Shatika Niles with Walker's Legacy, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Lorraine and Associates Administrative Services. I'm glad you all could join me tonight. I see a few familiar faces on, so if you all don't mind, please definitely share your faces over video, turn your video on, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I am the city, as I mentioned, the city director of Walker's Legacy, and I am the representative here in Atlanta that helps to provide programming for the organization. Walker's Legacy is an organization for women of color, and we support professional and entrepreneur development and empowerment. And so today I am super, super excited to have more than just a friend. She's like a sister. She is, I can actually say this. She is our guest for today and really responsible for a lot of my happiness right now. She introduced me to my husband. So I am so thankful for that. And so I'm going to kick us off with our session for the power of mentorship, because I not only see her as a sister, a family member, but also a mentor to me. She was actually my praise and worship leader, and that's how we met. And so I thank God for that opportunity of bringing us together, but now also the opportunity to celebrate her and some of the things that she's done in her life. And so I'll kick us off by introducing our moderator for today. And I am so happy to introduce Miss Amber D. She's a licensed professional counselor and founder of Black Female and Male Therapists. Amber is responsible for spreading BFT and BMT's best in class, most relatable, down to earth content while promoting Black therapists. She enjoys bringing her love of creativity into the mental health world to drive innovative methods for breaking the stigma of mental health and wellness for all, with a concentration in the Black community. So Amber is, like I mentioned, the founder of Black Female Therapists and Black Male Therapists. So if you have not seen her social media channel, please go and find her on social media. And I am definitely an advocate for therapy. And so that takes us to some of why I thought it would be a great pairing to have her as the moderator with our speaker for today, because our guest speaker is Antoinette Leann Sims, and she is a confident, fun, fashion-loving, resilient woman of faith. She is a devoted wife to Mario Sims, and for 12 years now, they have also given birth to four beautiful children: Dariana, Dariah, Mario Jr., and Amari. And so Antoinette is a native of Portland, Oregon, but she is definitely a reconditioned Georgia peach because she's been here for many years. She's a graduate of Beulah Heights University in Religious and Leadership Studies. And she's also the author of My Healing, My Choice, which is a 10-day devotional, transparent devotional, which talks about her life and also includes scriptures and prayers that help guide you through those different days of transition to get to healing. And so I thank Antoinette for the book, for the opportunity to be a part of the journey in having my own personal copy, but also to see how she's been so transparent in sharing her story and her life. So today, Amber is gonna guide the discussion for us. So feel free to ask your questions publicly, or you can also take advantage of the chat, which is available down below, and we will read your questions aloud. So on to you, Amber.
Thank you so much. That was so good. You did an awesome job. Well, Antoinette, I guess it's me and you. We're going to be chatting. Like Shatika said, we will take breaks to answer your questions. And you can pop them in at any time, or we'll stop and let you unmute, and you can answer those questions directly if you like. Yeah, so we can make sure that we answer everybody's questions. But on to you, Antoinette. I have to say I don't have the book yet, but it is definitely on my to-do list to get actually tonight. That's like, I keep a to-do list, right? So I can just remember things I need to do. And like I chunk things out, but either way, I do this and I just can keep up with what I need to do. So I'm going to buy the book, but start off telling me with how did you get to writing this book? Like what led you to write the book?
Hi, ladies. Can you guys hear me good? Thumbs up. I can't really see. I don't have my glasses on. I probably need to put them on to stop perpetrating for y'all.
There you
I
go.
can see now. All right. So really what got me to the point of writing the book, for me, I got to a place in life where I was kind of sick and tired of the same cycles, the same repeated behaviors, the same dysfunctions. And for me, it was just like, okay, I really need to just unpack this and get to the root of whatever this thing is and fix it.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor during this time, like before or during your book writing?
Well, I will say this, I don't have a specific mentor, but there are so many wonderful women that surround my life. A lot of them were very inspirational in this process. What is crazy about this whole process is some of the women I decided, hey, I don't want to be her, if that makes sense. I no longer want to bleed on other women or other people because of some things that I need to deal with within my own life. And then others, they just really inspired me to kind of just make peace with the past and just kind of embrace this new Antoinette, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then like even kind of within itself, even though like you said, you don't have a particular person that you consider your mentor, it's still like a way that we've learned from those individuals. Like you learn what you didn't want to do, or you know,
right.
Not to do something, or somebody giving you inspiration or motivation. So when it comes to mentorship, I guess we can look at it from that perspective that we don't necessarily have to have an individual person to say, you're my mentor. A group of women or whoever that's around you that supports you kind of mentor you indirectly.
Right. And a lot of times it was those older ladies in the church who would just kind of pull you to the side and say, baby, this is what I see and this is what you need to fix. And now as an almost 40-year-old woman, I appreciate those moments. You know, I really do appreciate those moments.
Yeah. How did you maintain those relationships with people, like the women in the church or the ones who inspired you or motivated you? How do you maintain those relationships, especially now with everything going on with COVID and you're being socially distancing, you know, you're not able to do face-to-face stuff. How were you able to maintain that?
Well, thank God for social media. I am very active on social media. Thank God for text messages. And I'm the type of person, if a person pops up on my mind, I'm going to call them randomly just to say, hey, what you doing? You're on my mind. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. Just to kind of keep that interaction, because if someone's important to you, then they're important enough for you to pick up the phone just to, you know, have that interaction.
Yeah. What if we're trying to find people, because I've had this a lot, where you are trying to find that circle where you might you might not necessarily have that mentor, that one particular mentor, but you have a network of people that you can talk to. What about people who don't have that? Do you have any recommendations of how to try to find that?
One, you have to be open to it. And the reason I say that is because as a woman growing up, a lot of times I dealt with rejection, and some of it stemmed from self-rejection. So you have to be kind of open to that, that interaction and open to that network of ladies, or else you'll kind of see it as not a help for you. Like I said, social media, I am in so many groups on Facebook that it makes no sense, just for the inspirational messages or just to kind of catch up on that video. Shatika and I and some other ladies, we send each other morning messages and sometimes scriptures just to, just kind of to impact each other in a positive way. So you have to be open to it. Yeah. That's the thing that's the most vital.
Yeah. I think that's very key, what you said, like being open to it.
Yes.
Especially like you saying, you getting pulled to the side while you were in church with someone telling you like, hey, this is kind of what you're doing wrong here. And I know a lot of our community, or some people, I can't say a lot of us, but some people would have taken that negatively, right? Like, mind your business. You don't know what I'm doing, whatever.
Right.
Like you said, you allowed yourself to be open to it, and therefore you grew from it. I think that's awesome about how things in our past kind of shape with our future and where we're going. And I know you talk about that in your book, about dealing with your past. How do you start dealing with those issues when you don't even know, maybe you don't even know it's an issue? You don't know that you're not open.
For me, what was very important for me is those people that surrounded me that kind of said, this is what I see and this is what needs to be fixed. You can't really heal something if you're not honest with yourself, if that makes sense. So you have to be completely honest with yourself. This is what I'm lacking. For me, I like to throw myself under the bus. For me, a big one was anger. A big one was unforgiveness. And you have to acknowledge, why do you keep giving that type of energy to certain situations? Because a lot of times a certain situation will present itself over and over and over again as a time or a moment for you to kind of properly assess it and do something different, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah. So if you don't know, let's say, because I think we all have things that we need to work on, right? And
still to this day. I mean,
I think as long as we're, especially being a therapist, we should always be growing, right? We never get to the point of, I know it all and I don't have anything else to work on, right?
Right.
But when you get to that point of dealing with your past and you want to deal with your past, where do you go with that in the book? Like, are you talking about your past experiences and how you went through that?
Absolutely. So in the book, I kind of just unpacked all of those hurtful moments, all of those things that I still remember as a grown woman that happened to me as a little girl. And some of those things I was still given that same reaction as a grown woman. Right. So you have to kind of just go back and just unpack that thing so it no longer controls your life or controls how you deal with people, if that makes sense. Because sometimes I feel like God will kind of send someone your way to kind of help guide you towards your healing or kind of guide you to a better place in life. But if you don't accept that, or kind of unpack and see them as a blessing, then you'll miss out.
Yeah. Is there something that we can do to start becoming more aware of kind of those actions?
Self-reflection is vital. For me, meditation is so big because I'm kind of able to just make one with myself, get my thoughts together, and just really dig into what is my heart feeling? What is my mind constantly thinking? What's going on with me? So that's so important to kind of just make one with yourself, just kind of get away from the noise, get away from the kids, the job, the husband, and just kind of take some moments to self-reflect.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a couple questions that I see popping up. And guys, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat or pop them in the chat or maybe raise your hand. I can't see everybody, so don't raise your hand. Well, you know what? Maybe I can. But the couple questions that we have in the chat is, what was the part of healing? Was the book a part of the healing process for you?
Absolutely. It was so big. Listen, y'all, I'm going to be transparent. There were certain days that I'll be writing a devotion and I'll be sitting at my desk crying like a little girl. Like that thing had just happened. Like it was so real. Like I would just be sitting at the desk just bawling. My kids, my husband be looking like, what is wrong with her? But it was so vital for me in that healing process. I don't know about you guys, but for me, journaling and just writing stuff down, to me, that's therapeutic for me.
Absolutely. One trick or tool that we use in therapy is if you are writing a letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to therapy before I was a therapist because I want to try it out. First of all, like, do I really want to do this? And like I said, we always got something to work on. And I have issues with my father, and the therapist had me to write a letter to him. And that letter was so like, because I don't talk to him and we don't have a relationship, but writing that letter was so cathartic, like crying as I'm writing that letter, you know, but just being able to kind of get all of that out, all my emotions that's in my head or how I felt about it, to get it out on paper is something that is super, super big. So for you to turn it into a book that people can learn from and grow and take as inspiration is awesome.
Because we have to realize that there is nothing that we go through in life that can't be used to help someone else to get to the place that they need to be at, if that makes sense. And so for me, although my past was ugly, someone else can kind of take that and learn from it, you know, in a positive way. And I kind of feel like there's a blessing when you properly, you know, kind of look at that thing and say, okay, this is what I learned, and now this can be helped to help someone else, if that makes sense. Can be used to help someone else.
Yeah. We have another question. Was it times while you were writing the book that you were taken back to those times or feelings and had to readdress them?
Absolutely. That's actually from my daughter. Hi, Dariah. Absolutely.
Right. That's a good one.
Absolutely. Like I said, I would be sitting at my desk bawling like a young lady. And sometimes I had to pick up the phone and call someone to just say, I'm sorry. Would you forgive me? And I forgive you.
Wow.
That's important too, because a lot of times we are stuck in a place because we're unforgiving.
Not only are we unforgiving to others, but we're unforgiving for ourselves.
Yes.
Right? Ourselves
yes.
for mistakes that we made, but we did the best with what we had, right? We didn't really know, you know, you learn, you do better once you know better, but I did the best that I can, but we still beat ourselves up from being in that spot.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we will, I guess that's enough questions. We'll stop in a minute to go on, but I want to kind of talk to you about when you're saying you're writing the book and you're crying and you had to address those things and being able to call people and apologize for something that you may have said or did, and then even accept an apology from someone. How was that? Was that a healing process for you?
Yes, there is definitely healing in releasing people. Releasing what they did, that offense, releasing your past. What's so funny is me and Shatika actually just had this talk the other day. It was a quick talk. And I was saying, I wish I can go back to some of those interactions that I had with people when I was that broken person. Because sometimes you only have that one interaction to change someone else's life. But if you're broken and you're stuck on your past and you're stuck on your feelings and you're stuck on what so-and-so did to you, then you can't be a blessing to someone else. And I feel like that's why all of us are here, to kind of just be used. I feel like we're all assigned to someone's life. And if we don't go through our own healing process and kind of correct the issues that are at hand, then we can't be a blessing to someone else.
Yeah, I love that you say we're all assigned to someone. That's awesome. What can you do daily, or let's say you don't even know you need to be healed, right? Because I think healing is a word that I see, like you, I'm on social media all the time. Obviously, my business is social media. And so I feel like healing is one of those like words that's been just thrown around all the time, like really loosely, like you need to heal, you need to heal, you need to heal. For people that are on and kind of don't even understand what that means, can you break that down, what it means to heal from something?
Simply what it means is you need to correct something. For me, if it's broken, you can tell if it's broken. What are your thoughts? what are your constant thoughts towards yourself? One, because if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts towards yourself, then that's an eye opener that you need to heal something. Two, ask those people that you love that are constantly around you, ask them about yourself and be open to the feedback. For me, like, I don't have anybody around me that is not honest with me. And that is the absolute truth. I don't want any more friends around me that can say, Antoinette, this is what I see and this is what needs to be corrected. So you have to just, honestly, you just have to be honest. Transparency, it saves lives. And that's just what I feel. And that's what I know for a fact.
Mm-hmm. But getting to that point to be transparent, right? Sometimes people don't want to see themselves. They don't want to see the ugly part, right? I don't want to look at that. Like, I'm guilty of that with my finances, right? I can go to the store, go to Target and swipe that card one too many times. And like, I don't even want to see the bank statement. I don't want to see it because I know I messed up. You know, so you have some people also look at their lives like that. They don't want to see the ugly sides, or the sides that not necessarily ugly that may need to be healed. What do you say to those people?
But you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. And that's just it. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. And honestly, if you want something bad enough, you'll do what it takes to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like as women, like, we have makeup, we have hair, we have social media to make us appear that we have it all together. And a lot of times we miss out on opportunities just to kind of get naked within ourselves and just kind of just be honest with ourselves and say, under this makeup, under this hair, under this social media, there is a woman who is broken and that's hurting, and she needs to fix herself.
How long does that process take? Is there a particular time limit on when you should heal?
Absolutely not. I still don't have it all together. I don't think any of us have it all together. So don't let anybody pressure you that you need to be healed by tomorrow at 2:00, because that is not possible. So absolutely not. You just have to be committed to the process. You have to be committed to breaking those cycles, committed to doing the work, because you're absolutely worth doing the work. And sometimes it just means getting people from around you that keep you in a toxic state, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes you just have to say, I said on social media today, there is a blessing in saying goodbye to certain people, to certain things, to certain feelings, to certain emotions. There is a blessing in saying goodbye.
Yeah. So if it's no time limit, or let's say we think that we've healed from something. I think I'm healed from it, and then it comes back up. Did I do something wrong?
No, because for me, every now and then something will come back up. For many years, I dealt with anger. And for many years, I dealt with unforgiveness. And sometimes when a moment comes up, I just kind of pull myself back and say, okay, Antoinette, why is this still affecting you? Why is it still bothering you? And I kind of just do whatever I did at the beginning of my healing process and just do it all over again.
Yeah. So one question that I'm thinking about when you're talking about the anger and all of that, what if I'm really working on it, right? I'm working on the healing. I'm working on it. Or so I think I am. Because it all looks different for everybody, right? The healing process is different for everybody. And I'm working on it. But it's not seeming to work for me. Do I have to keep at it a year later, 2 years later? What if I'm getting frustrated and I feel like it's just not for me?
I feel like that's where you would come into play. Sometimes we can't do it on our own. Sometimes we have to go outside of ourselves and seek professional help.
Yes.
I have sat on many couches. Sometimes you have to just go outside of yourself. You're not crazy, you just need that extra ounce of care. So
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take I see a question. When is it time to move on from relationships that hinder your healing? Is it like a work in progress?
Whew. Whoa, that's a good one, because there are certain family members that I don't deal with.
Hey, okay.
For me, I'm big about my energy.
Mm.
I'm big about my spirit when I'm around you. You know when something is not right for you because your body and your mind will tell you. If every interaction leaves you feeling, I would say, worse than you felt when you came in contact with that person, then that's probably a relationship that you want to kind of, yeah.
This, I think Shatika has a question. You can unmute yourself.
So Antoinette, I know anytime we get together, and I say we meet, it's normally you and other women, we get together and it's always an amazing time, right? And so sometimes we can't identify the things that are affecting us directly when we're in those circles, depending on who we're getting into contact with. Like you said, when is it time to move on? How do you is there a way that you can help us understand how to identify those toxic relationships that might be impacting our healing? Because having good times with people is one thing, but I know sometimes we talk about how catty women can be, or like you said, the feeling that you get. How do we help us to identify, how do we figure out when those relationships are not good for us, and how do we deal with that?
I feel like relationships are simply to get you to the next level. And what I mean by that is that relationship growing you? Is it maturing you? Is it causing you to feel love? Is it causing you to be your very best self? Shatika, we've been friends for many years. You've always been like my biggest cheerleader. If that relationship, if it's something like every time you talk to them, it's something negative, yeah. You just have to really just be honest, because life is short. COVID-19 has taught us all that life is short. And for me, I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose healing, and I choose relationships that, you know, that not only pour into me, but I'm able to pour into those relationships as well.
That's really good. I think, I'm not sure if anyone else have any.
Did that answer your question, Tika? Okay.
Anyone else have a question that we missed before I keep rambling on? Anybody?
I have one other question.
Okay.
Antoinette, you opened up your book talking about my past. That's the first chapter. And I noticed that you talked about your parents, you talked about your brothers, and you talk about some of the things that they have gone through, which mean obviously were difficult things that you experienced growing up. And so when you think about healing, and you just mentioned you got family members that you don't engage with, when we have grown up knowing that blood is thicker than water, right?
Right.
You know, how do you deal with family? Because you're still very close with your family. You've seen your family go through a healing process. You've stuck it out. How do you help your family heal? How did you help and contribute to that part, as well as working on your own healing?
Well, one, I just believe that in doing the healing myself, it's going to cause someone else to get to their healing level or start their healing journey. Like I said, when I say there are certain people that I don't deal with, it's kind of like a hello and a goodbye, if that makes sense. It's like, we passing through, but I'm not finna sit on the phone with you, and I'm not finna just sit in your presence over and over and over and over when I know what type of person you are or the impact that you have, if that makes sense. Just to be very transparent, you know, growing up, I had two parents who were addicted to drugs. And if I didn't heal from that thing, then I couldn't be a good daughter today, if that makes sense. And so now today I'm able to talk to them. I'm able to help them. I'm able to encourage them because I am healed, which is causing them to be a better individual and a better person.
I have a question.
Okay. Hi, Alita.
Hello, Mrs. Other Sims. So I can say my first time meeting you, always transparent. You know, we always keep it real in a fun way. But I want to go back to mentorship. So being 51 and never having a mentor. And I say from the standpoint of you get close to someone that you think is going to be your mentor. And then when you actually get into your realm of what you're able to do, whether your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and then that person starts to pull away. How do you find a mentor that's comfortable in their own skin to help you move along? Now, I should be in a position to be a mentor to people because I'm on this other side, but if there's someone younger and is sharp to a T, and I'm talking about women as mentors, how do you encourage that young person, that young woman to continue to seek out mentors? Because I didn't, because of the reactions I would get from other women that I thought was going to take me under their wings. What would you suggest, or what are some things both of you and Amber would suggest to get past that, the trust and mentorship?
Oh, that's good. So one of the things that I will say that is very vital, I haven't always felt this way, but the truth of the matter is go where you are celebrated. If you feel like you're pushing yourself on someone, it's probably not your mentor. You have to get around women who are strong enough to see your strengths, and they're not intimidated by who you are as a person, by what you bring to the table. I would just really encourage you to just get around women that are like-minded, that are very strong and secure in who they are as a woman. Because if you get around those type of women, most likely they don't have a problem with lifting you up.
I think something else to add to that is the fact of being able to say, like, one thing that Alita said is because she's older, right?
Yes.
I think that's a mindset, right? I'm 51, so I should be here, right? That statement of I should be here. Like, I should be able to be a mentor, or I shouldn't be looking for a mentor because I am this age or whatever. And I think that's something that we kind of got to get out of, because you can find a mentor that's younger than you. You never know how, because you never know what they know that they can pour into you and help you with. So I think that's something that we do need to continue to work on, is our perspective and our mindset around certain things, so that we can be open to that, because that trust kind of looks different when you already have these shades on about how it's supposed to look. You know what I'm saying?
And growth doesn't have an age on it. Honestly, the truth of the matter, I've met women who are 20-something years old that act more mature than a 40-year-old woman. And I'm able to kind of glean from them and kind of just learn some things from them. And I'm open to it, and it's okay. I'm not intimidated by it either. Really, for me, my faith is a big one. You have to just really pray about it and ask God to lead you to those women's lives.
And that's what I appreciate, Shatika and Amber, and I've added you to my circle of young women mentors. So thank you, ladies. Thank you.
So Antoinette, I have a question for you in regards to just types of counseling. Is there one type of counselor that can help your healing, or have you been to multiple counselors? How did you get to the point of going to therapy and understanding how to seek help to be a better person?
Well, for me, here's the start of my therapy. Don't y'all laugh at me now. So for me, here's the start of my therapy. First, I went to therapy for myself to kind of heal some issues that Antoinette had that nobody else could fix, nobody else had an impact on. It was just all Antoinette, just crazy Antoinette. So first I started there, because once I work through my issues and I can kind of help these other issues, then there's marital therapy, because sometimes you bring these issues into your marriage, you bring these issues into raising your children, you're wondering why you always mad. And all they asked for was a sandwich, you know, just crazy stuff like that. And then I started there, and you just kind of work your way up and just kind of meet yourself where you are. I don't think that there's a certain type of therapist that you should go to, but one, you definitely need to go to therapy for yourself. If there's an issue, go for yourself first.
Absolutely. I think we get that a lot too. Couples will come in and be like, well, he did this and he did that or whatever, right? And fix them. Well, we have to start with you because
No, you was crazy when you married her. Right.
What we can't do is change someone else, but we can work on changing ourselves, right?
Right.
I think all of this is really good, and it talks about how, change is really important. Awareness, and then being able to be open and have an open heart. And I know you talk about that in your book. You have a section on the heart. Can you talk about that a little bit? About the heart?
Yes. For me, my heart, it was just so damaged. It was just so closed off. Like I no longer felt, what's the word? Compassion for other people. If you're no longer compassionate about other people, then there's an issue. If you're always hard or nothing brings you, like if someone dies and you feel absolutely nothing, that's a heart issue that needs to be corrected. So I am very big on just kind of searching deep within and get into the root of that. And you have to start with the heart first.
Yeah. Now, when you started with the heart, was it because you went to therapy or it was just you doing your own searching?
It was definitely because I went to therapy. I would like to take the credit for that, but no, it was definitely when I went to therapy. So the crazy thing about it is something had happened that should have kind of just rocked my world. And I absolutely felt nothing about it. And my therapist looked at me and she said, sweetie, yeah, something's wrong. So that's where I started and just kind of had to just kind of dig deep. And like I say, I keep saying, because it's big for me, my faith, I kind of just really had to just go into prayer and just kind of just ask the Lord to kind of correct whatever issues are at hand in my heart.
Yeah. Was it hard for you to make that change and to like dig up all of that and start that shift?
It was trial and error. Some days I would get it right. Other days I'd be back to ugly Antoinette. And then the next day I think I got it together. It was a process. I honestly think that everything is going to be a process when it's dealing with your heart. You have to just constantly just work at it. For me, like I was the type of person that I would close the door quickly or run away from issues quickly. And I had to just kind of look at, okay, why are you always running from relationships? Okay, that's your family or that's your friend. They really love you. But because I didn't want to deal with myself or deal with my heart issues, for me, it's just something that you just have to, like I said, make the decision that this is something that I need to fix.
Yeah. How can someone open up while still protecting their heart?
That is so good, because a lot of times as women, we are so guarded. Mm-hmm. Like we can be in a room full of women and they have the answers, but we're not going to ask the question. Mm-hmm. Because we want everybody to think that we got it together. That is a big one. Honestly, I don't really feel like you can really, you have to get to a place to where you're just transparent and you don't mind being naked in front of these people. Of course, it has to be a comfortable atmosphere, but at the same token, like you can't, there's something I read yesterday. God can't bless who you pretend to be. So if you're covering up, and you're guarding yourself, then how can you really get the help? Like you have to be open to it.
Yeah. Do we have any questions, guys, about that? Because I want Antoinette to kind of give us some things that we can start implementing. I mean, I think your book is awesome, and for it to be like devotionals, right? Those are so important. And I want us to kind of get to that. But before I get to that, are there any questions? Got any questions you want to pop into the chat, or anybody want to ask a question?
Oh, thank you, Alita.
Do you make yourself a priority? Love yourself first. I've been a caretaker for everyone always. I can take care of everyone and mentor and give advice, though I don't find it easy to allow others to give me advice and take care of me.
The Antoinette today definitely makes herself a priority, because I realize you can't really pour into someone else if you're empty. If you're constantly empty or you're constantly tired or drained, you can't really pour into someone else. And that's why we're all here, to pour into someone else. That's hard because as women, like we know how to care for others. We know how to take care of our children. We know how to take care of our men, but we lack taking care of ourselves. And honestly, you're important. As simple as that. Like I had to say to myself, Antoinette, you are important. You are important enough to get the healing you need. You're important enough to go through this therapy. You're important enough to go through this process so you can help someone else. Because if you're always at like a, what's the word? I can't really think of it right now. But if you're always empty, like I said, if you're always empty, you can't really pour into someone else. So that's definitely important to, to realize that you really can't take care of anybody else properly if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I say that one a lot on my social media. Like you have to fill your cup first, and then everybody else gets the overflow. But if your cup is empty, you have nothing to give. So that's so important. I think something else is too challenging yourself. If you truly want to see a change, we do know it's like behavior 101. You can't expect change doing the same behavior, right? Or you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. You gotta do something different.
That's dysfunction.
So like challenging yourself to say, okay, I'm going to try for the next week or for the next day to try it different. I'm gonna be open and listen, and then I'm just gonna try it different and see what can happen from it.
Right.
Yeah. So what's 3 things that we can start implementing like instantly? Like something that I can do tonight or something I can do when I wake up in the morning? What's 3 things that I can take away and start implementing right now?
So listen, what's crazy is I actually type some things out because I'm the type of person I might give you 20 and that's not really obtainable, So I have 3 things that you can start to do today. Number 1 is be honest with yourself about where you are today, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can't heal, and I've already said this, but it's so vital. You cannot heal what you don't first acknowledge. And I can keep saying it, like you can't heal something, you can't make peace with something until you first acknowledge that this is an issue. Yeah. Number 2 is begin a gratitude journal. For me, every single day I get up, or whether it's at night, because some days I'm too tired, I write down something that makes me feel good about my day, something that made me smile, a person, it could be a small little moment, but a gratitude journal, it will kind of change your whole thought process. Devotionals, y'all get my book now. Meditation and prayer is so important. Everybody don't have the same faith, but for me, meditation and prayer is so important for me. It just kind of just makes me just forget about everything that's going on in life, forget about all the things that I've gone through, and just kind of just get myself together to where I can, kind of just take the day and it's like, okay, I got this day. Whatever it is, I can face it head on and I'm gonna be okay. That's number 2. Number 3 is seek an accountability partner. And I know that's hard as women, but that's why we're here for mentorship. You have to have an accountability partner. Some days I will call Shatika and be like, girl, what you think about this? And you have to be open to it and honest with it. Of course, you have to trust that individual enough to kind of just take what they're saying and kind of like, you know what, she right. So kind of just get you an accountability partner. It could be a friend, it could be your grandma, whoever that accountability partner is. It has to be somebody that you trust, of course, because if you don't trust them, then you ain't gonna, kind of take what they're saying and, use it, if that makes sense. But that's 3 things that you can start to do today.
Something else that I find that is different, like you have the devotionals in your book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think something else that's super important is to read them aloud, like saying it, like not just reading it in your head, but actually saying it out loud. You know, it's a change. You'll see a shift in it instead of just reading it, to say it out loud. I think that's super important. Can you share a self-reflection? Because I know you have that in your book, something about some self-reflection that we can maybe utilize from the book, or maybe just tease us with one that you already have in the book.
Okay, I will. Sorry, y'all.
That's good. It's good.
But this is what I have for my heart. Let's see. Because honestly, this is really just the root of the healing for me. You just have to really just deal with your heart. And so I have here, this is actually the end. Let's see. Do we want to talk about the self-reflection, or do we want to do the prayer that I said to myself? What do y'all want to hear?
Let's hear both.
Drop in the chat. You want to hear both? Okay. So the prayer is, Father God, my prayer is simple. I believe by faith that you have healed my heart. I ask that you create in me a pure heart and renew in me your spirit. Not my spirit, but your spirit. From this day forth, I declare, and that's one of those things where you say you have to speak it out. So I declare that my heart is full of joy, peace, and love that freely flows to others in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Good.
And so I think that is day 6. So I will go to day 6 and ask the self-reflection question, which is simple. It says, if God did a heart check today, what would he find that shouldn't be there?
Now that's good stuff. I like it. I like it.
Listen, I had 3 pages. 3 pages. So yes, I had to go through this process myself. And when I looked at 3 pages, I was like, girl, you is raggedy.
Antoinette, I really have to say that, one, the title, My Healing, My Choice, I thought it was great for this session too, just because the title of the book centers us in understanding that my healing is my choice.
Yes.
A lot of times we put the onus on someone else to be responsible for our happiness, for our healing. How can you talk to that process and how you were able to shift? Because I think we all take that approach, right? Until we learn differently that, well, if this person would have done this, I would be okay. If
Yes.
this thing wouldn't have happened, then I would be okay. And so how do you change that mindset to shift to owning the choice that we have in our lives for healing?
For me, that is so important because for so many years, I was a victim. It was always somebody else's fault. They always did it to me. I never did anything to myself. She didn't like me. He didn't treat me right. And you know the excuses that we play day after day in our mind to get the attention off of ourselves. And so with this book, I said my for everything. I said my past, my pain, my anger, my emotions, my heart, my healing, and my restoration, because I had to take ownership over those things because it's mine. You know, it's not somebody else's joy. It's not somebody else's life, but it's my life. It's my joy. And if I want my joy and if I want my peace and I want my healing, then I can't allow someone else to negatively affect that, if that makes sense. Like, you have to take the face out of it. Sometimes it's hard to take the pain out of it, but you kind of just have to just step aside and just say to yourself, okay, this is my life. Yes, those things happened to me. Yes, they did. Yes, they did this to me, and they may have hurt you. But at the end of the day, this is your life. This is the life that God gave you. We only have one. We only have one shot. So let's do the work. and stop giving people so much power, because a lot of times we would give people so much power. You would think that this person is Jesus Christ, the power that we give to these people. Like, she don't like me, so I can't get here. They won't help me, so I can't get here. The truth of the matter is everything we need is on the inside of us. And all we have to do is to tap into it and make it happen.
Yeah, that's very inspiring and motivating. You need to do a little motivational speaking, because girl, you got me like, Well, is there any other questions that we have that you want to pop in the chat before? I know we're rolling up on 7:30, and I'd like to, value everyone's time. So is there any other questions that anybody has? Any questions? Any questions?
They're thinking.
I don't have an actual question. I'm out to these. Hello, nice meeting everyone. I don't have an actual question, but just wanted to say that it's very empowering to hear the information. It's confirmation, affirmation, and it does really help that, there's others out there that it is, but like you said, you never have a lot of women that come together at times and talk about those real relatable things. And I think it's very good. And I've really enjoyed all the questions and your feedback. And of course, and I am going to get that devotional book and read through it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, everybody post your location. I see that came up in the chat. That would be so good to know.
Oh, that's sweet.
In Seattle.
Oh, my grandfather lives there.
Oh,
Seattle. I'm from Portland. Portland, Oregon.
I heard you say that. I was like, woo, woo, close by.
So I want to say we have a lot of family on the line as well. I see we have a newlywed on the line. We have our cousin from Thomasville, one from Orlando, our former first lady of our church as well. She's on.
Oh, forever first lady.
We have Shanti Sims from Powder Springs, Quinita from Lawrenceville. Alita is a part of the core team. So thank you, Alita, for all your help in putting this together. Altavis is from Fayetteville.
Thank you.
Lorianne, thank you for joining, Lorianne. Darlene Hollis in the house. And we have Mildred out of Seattle. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to say thank you to you both for being a part. We're gonna, if there's no other questions, we're gonna wrap up. The talk ends at 7:30. So we thank you so very much. Any final words, Amber, before we end?
Wow. Like, oh, wow. No, I mean, I really appreciate you guys having me on. I love these conversations, as you know. If any you guys follow my social media, I love challenging our behaviors. I think that's something that is super important when we are trying to seek change in our lives. How can we change things? So again, just thank you. And if you guys are looking for a therapist, or you looking for a female or male therapist, you can always go to our directory. We have a list of therapists there. I started that just because I didn't see anyone representing us. So I'm like, okay, well, nobody else doing it. I need to do it, you know? So I just started the directory, and I try to share as much as possible, have kind of events like this as well. So if you guys want to continue the conversation, or you can always ask me a question, I'll try to have one of the therapists answer it, because I know therapy does cost a lot. And if you can't afford it, we do pay for therapy. We're going to open up a scholarship towards the end of the year where we're covering therapy. So those that are in need, please apply, because I'm a big proponent of therapy, obviously. So I think that we all should have it. So Anytime that you want to do the work, I think in conjunction with the book, right? You read the book, you set your intentions for the day, you open your heart and be able to go to a therapist or to be able to build that rapport with someone so that you know, what do I need to work on, and be open to that advice and start shifting some things in your life. And I think the devotional book is something that you don't read one time. I think that's something that you always, always, always need to hear, because you need that reinforcement. You need those reminders of, this is what I need to do today to kind of help you stay on track. So thank you. Thank all you ladies for joining us. I appreciate you guys even taking the time out to come on.
I do want to say something. I think it's about, 17 of us on here. Thank you guys for joining. This is just like a really huge topic for me, because for many years I struggled with that. And for me, it is so important for me to see other women living their very best, authentic life. So if you didn't ask a question, because I know some of us that we're not as open, if that makes sense. I don't mind sharing with you if you want to call me sometimes or message me. I'm not a therapist, but I do have a lot of experience on how to not do it. So I'm honestly open to that. So
awesome. Any other parting words, Antoinette, before you go?
I don't have any other parting words, but I do want to just say that, ladies, you are absolutely worth it. So do whatever it takes to live your very best life. And I know a lot of times we say that as because we hear the song "Living My Best Life," but you can't live your best life broken. Like you just can't live your best life broken. So you have to get the help that you need, and just, go through the process. Don't be scared of the process.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies, for being my guest today. I appreciate it so much. And thank you all for joining as attendees. And I hope that what was shared today was able to inspire you, motivate you, encourage you to go through the process of healing. Again, I am an advocate for therapy, an advocate for engaging and communicating what I feel, because a lot of times we don't know until we open up and share with another person what's really going on. We're very habitual when it comes to just assuming what someone may be thinking, feeling, what they meant by something that happened. And so it's better for us to open up and have those conversations. I know for me, I feel like all crazy on the inside when I know I need to have this conversation with a person, because one, I'm so focused on not wanting to hurt someone's feelings or not wanting to do something wrong the wrong way. And so I try to push myself beyond that. And sometimes I get my girl power support, whether it's Antoinette, Alita, or whomever's on the call. I call people to help me think through it before I do the thing that I need to do next. And so that's that encouragement and support that we can lend each other throughout the process. And I hope that you have some girlfriends you can call on. If not, you got a bunch here today. So, so keep in mind, your healing is your choice, and make the choice that you need to make for a better life for yourself. And again, reach out to us, reach out to myself. I'm at Atlanta@walkerslegacy.com. You can reach me there, Atlanta@walkerslegacy.com. And feel free to jump in on some of the other discussions. I think this month they are also talking through other mental health topics as well at the national level that you can definitely jump in on. So feel free to go in and participate on some of the free programming. And thank you again for joining. I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the talk.
Bye.
Bye.